Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
What is today and what are we doing?
Well, it is Saturday, which means that today is
Q&A Saturday.
That's right. And what are we Qing and Aing today?
Did you have any specific cues?
I didn't, that I can think of.
Right, I didn't either. So I'm just kind of doing a little summary of Ecclesiastes Chapters 6 through 10.
Okay, sounds good. Let's
Okey-dokey.
go do this.
Sounds good. Okay, so since we didn't have any questions,
Right.
specifically other than the fuck.
Well, I mean, my only question is why the fuck does it sound like, Proverbs? Why did it switch from it's like such a different tone?
It really is.
But
And,
I don't know that we have an answer for that. So.
right. No, we don't. And it even mentions that in my notes.
Right,
so
right.
we're not the only ones that think that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's comforting, I
That
guess.
is always comforting when we think a thing and then I find out that,
Others
yes.
think it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is true. That is a fact.
Right.
So chapter 6 is a continuation from previous chapter about the vanity of life.
Okay.
And this chapter in particular deals with wealth and insatiability. Basically saying that one of the worst things that can happen to a person in this life is to have stuff but not enjoy it.
Okay.
And so we should be content with what we have and not submit to vanity and keep restlessly seeking more.
I think that's a double-edged sword. So, like, you and I talk about this a lot, where, we want to be happy with what we have and who we are and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think also on the flip side of that is that if you stop pursuing things in your life,
Right. Become complacent.
yeah, you're not really living. Like,
Right.
there's a point where I understand what they're getting at. You have to not continuously work for no reason. Like,
Right.
if you're working just to work and collect more wealth,
Mm-hmm.
that I can see as absurd. But if you're working towards goals and projects and things like that, I feel like that's a worthwhile endeavor a lot of the time.
Well, I feel like you and I pretty much represent both sides of this because I tend to be very complacent and very satisfied with, well, this is where I'm at and I'm happy about it. The end. And you are the perpetual dreamer, always wanting to better our lot, no matter what our lot is. And we kind of
Right.
balance each other out, which is nice because I remind you to smell the flowers and you remind me that, but we can plant more flowers too. And that's okay.
Right, right. But I mean, even in my seeking more,
Mhm.
I am seeking more not for just riches. I'm
No, I
seeking
know.
more to better myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I like creating. I like
Mhm.
getting involved in things. I want to be more than I am,
Mm-hmm.
and so I endeavor to be more than I am
Sure.
all the time.
Same. I mean, that's part of why I wanted to, read the Bible and
Right.
figure out more. And I always love the research part because I like learning more than what I know.
I attribute most of my craziness to like my ADHD that I have diagnosed.
Yeah. Apparently, your mom says that you were apparently diagnosed when you were young.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I don't know how. I mean, that was in like the 80s, so
Yeah.
who knows how reliable that was. But
Yeah, exactly.
But I also, I mean, I've grown to enjoy my ADHD at some level. It's annoying, but also it gets me into a lot of things that I have learned to concentrate on
Mm-hmm.
and focus in on. Like this podcast is a
Sure.
prime example.
Sure. I mean, you're always trying something new, and
Right.
whether it sticks or not is not always the point.
Yeah.
And all of the things that you've tried have led to the successes that we have had. And the things that you stick with are because of all the things you've tried.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's nice that we're able to balance each other out that way.
Definitely.
So, this chapter also covers things like the rich may live long and have much, but they die unsatisfied and unmourned, I
Okay.
guess. And then also, what is the point of wisdom and what reason is there for the poor to find a role in life to improve one's lot? And the desire to find answers beyond the obvious is seen as vanity. And it's kind of the Dorothy Gale at the end of the movie The Wizard of Oz saying, if it's not in my backyard, then I shouldn't want it at all, or some shit like that, which I always took issue with because that message wasn't in the book.
Yeah.
And they added it for a Hollywood ending.
Sure.
But still, it's, again, part of you got to find that happy medium between acceptance and continued growth.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, at some level, I can agree with some of this. So.
Right.
It's just a matter of how it's spelled out.
Sure.
So.
And no extremes, please.
Right.
And then finally, also, there is an impasse where they say everything has been defined, so humans are inherently incapable of contesting a cause with God. So that was in that chapter somewhere.
Got it.
That
Okay.
God has already figured everything out, and so even if we keep learning more, there's nothing. We can never learn everything because we're not God, and
Right.
God is God.
Right, but part of being human to me is just the curiosity of life,
Yeah.
like learning everything you can.
Yes.
Just because knowledge is something I crave.
I know. Same.
So I won't stop trying to learn.
No,
And-
I mean, basically shoot me the day I stop trying to
Yeah,
learn.
I don't give a fuck what God knows. God doesn't exist in my head, so
Right.
But
But even if there was a God, like, we are filled with curiosity.
Right.
And I don't think it's a sin to try to pursue that curiosity that we were given.
I agree.
So poop on that.
Yeah.
So chapter 7 is about the wisdom and folly of man as compared to each other. And this chapter deals with suffering and sin, and man seeking knowledge by his own means and through his own schemes will always inevitably fail. Yeah, that's a thing.
That's why the scientific method never works.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what's going on.
And that's why, if you really believe that, I hope that you have never called 911 or gone to a hospital. Or
Right.
driven a car, or used a microwave, or
Yeah.
have a cell phone, or indeed are able to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yeah.
You can't have it both ways in my book.
Exactly.
So this is the point at which it was stated in my notes that the first half of this was similar to that of Proverbs. But I think we started noticing that in chapter 6.
Yeah.
But our notes say or what I have found in my research is that it's really, really true in chapter 7.
Right.
And so while the first half of chapter 7 is similar to Proverbs, the second half exposes the, quote, crookedness of life that moves to the crookedness of humanity.
Okay.
I don't really know what that means, but there were a couple of verses in chapters 6 and 7 about how God sets straight that which was set crooked, or God sets crooked that which was set straight, or something like that.
Right.
And that man's not able to do that.
Okay.
And I'm like, but we do build dams.
Yeah.
And we did, dig up the Panama Canal. And
but we're
like
talking
that.
about the Bronze Age here, right?
Right.
But that's why it's Iron Age, Bronze Age, sometime way back.
That's why the wisdom of the Bible, when it comes to stuff like that, no longer really applies.
Right.
Like, come up with a better analogy, a better example.
Yeah.
Because actually we can set things crooked or straight depending on our whim.
Yeah.
And, somebody built the fucking pyramids and it wasn't God.
That's right. That's right.
So the first part of chapter 7 is a critique of the sages on the day of adversity. And it has to do with instructive suffering. So as a funeral may cause one to think about life, whereas a party probably not, visits to the house of mourning may bring more valuable lessons for inner character, enabling true resolutions in one's life. So you're
more reflective at a
funeral than a party. Right.
Okay.
So remember, we did have a question about that. Why would you appreciate a funeral more than a party? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So that kind of was a question.
That clears up a little bit.
Yeah. They're saying that a party is just nothing but fun and enjoyment and is shallow. Whereas at a funeral, you're going to be more likely to think about how short life is and think about the things that you want to accomplish before your own death. And
I can appreciate that.
That's
a good way of looking at
it. That's not what it said.
Right.
And that's not what I got from it. But, okay, that's what you meant.
But if that's what they're getting at, then that makes some sense.
Sure. And so I can appreciate that.
Right.
Yeah. Still, I don't like funerals, and I do like parties, and I think that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know that I do. I mean, I've been to funerals. I don't know that I do a lot of reflecting on my life. I actually am thinking about that person and their life, which, I want to remember them. I do. I'm always trying to remember them really well. I'm like, it's sad that they're gone. And,
now, my experience with funerals is a little different than yours, because my first real funerals with family and friends were with, first my ex. I went to his grandparents' funeral. And then with you, I went to your grandparents' funeral.
So you don't really have as much of an attachment to the people that you've gone to funerals for.
And so my experience with funerals has been trying to think about the person that I didn't either ever have met or didn't really know if I did meet them a couple times.
Sure.
And so it's less about the person and more about meeting a bunch of people that I've never met before and trying to find the correct mood and expression on my face.
Sure.
Because I'm around people that it's almost like a family reunion for them.
Yeah.
And so that's nice, and it's fun to meet people. And I can remember when we went to your grandfather's funeral.
Yeah.
That was a family reunion.
Oh yeah.
And it was a very enjoyable experience meeting so many of your relatives, several of which though were like, so are we being invited to your wedding? And we didn't even, I didn't even remember, wait, is this grandfather on your mom's side or your dad's side? How are they related?
Right.
And I'm sorry, who the fuck are you again?
Right.
And I didn't know how to deal with that. And, we were just trying to have a small wedding. So, I wasn't necessarily thinking about death, and I wasn't thinking about that person even.
Sure.
I was very selfishly thinking of my discomfort and looking at all the kids sitting on the couch playing on their Game Boys and wishing I could be one of the kids sitting on the couch playing a Game Boy.
I think that's fair. You were an outsider in that situation, and it's hard to know what to do or how to handle yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was very much at home because that's the family I grew up with and knew.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's different different ways of viewing it, but I mean, definitely makes a difference as to whose funeral you're going to.
Right. And then, like, with my own grandparents, I was not able to attend my grandfather's funeral because I was in the military at the time and couldn't come home for that. And then with my grandmother's funeral, I drove all the way across the damn country, like a 3-day driving trip.
Yeah.
And went, and it was just me and my sister and 2 of my uncles, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and our family dynamics are night and day different. As far as what your family, like, size of families is.
Yeah.
I have a huge family.
Yeah. And I barely know my extended family.
Right.
So
I almost trip over mine coming out the door. So
yeah.
Like, they're all over the damn place.
They are.
I don't even know who all half my family is.
I literally had to make a chart to remember again which side of the family your relatives are on, because I don't know. I don't know these people still, and we've been married for 15 years.
Yeah.
So just weird. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with all that so much as that funerals versus parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are 4 dangers, and the 4 dangers to hinder wisdom are thus: corruption, impatience, bitterness, and nostalgia.
Nostalgia, huh?
Yeah.
That's an interesting one to throw in there.
Right? I was like, you know what? I fall victim to impatience, bitterness, and nostalgia, not corruption.
Right.
Because I'm not a corruptible person.
Sure.
I think what I think, and that's that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, I'm very impatient. I am bitter about a lot of things, and I do sometimes fall victim to nostalgia.
Sure.
Not like the, quote, good old days, but like the place where I grew up. It was an Air Force base in southern Italy that no longer exists.
Yeah.
And I have nostalgia for that place that I spent 10 years of my childhood.
Right, right.
You know, through 10th grade. So.
Yeah, and it's not like mine where I could go down and visit where I grew up anytime.
Yeah, because it's, you know, small town USA right down the road.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, of those 4, do you have problems with any of those?
I don't know that I have problems with them.
You're very patient. You don't suffer bitterness. You don't have a lot of nostalgia issues. And you're certainly not corruptible.
Right.
So I would say you're one of God's good people.
I would say nostalgia would be the one that I have the most in me, but I don't feel like it's a hindrance of any type.
No.
So
it doesn't hold you back and you don't suffer for it or anything.
Right. No. So I don't know. I don't relate to any of those.
You did not even like react when I said you're one of God's good people.
Sorry, it didn't really register. But
no, I know. I totally expected you to be like, I resent that.
Right? Yeah. Sorry.
So the need of wisdom. Okay. Wisdom belongs to God, but is granted to His people and has a deeper level of protective power than wealth. Would you rather have knowledge or wealth?
I mean, I would rather have both.
I was going to say, if you have knowledge, you should be able to attain wealth.
One would think.
But just because you have wealth doesn't mean you have knowledge, and you're more likely to lose that wealth without knowledge.
Right. That's true.
So if I had to pick one, I would say knowledge.
Sure.
So if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, it would be knowledge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's the right answer.
Yeah, right. No, I know that's the right answer.
But it would be nice, as we often state, to have enough that a fucking flat tire ain't going to put us out for the month.
No, I mean, you'd think that part of wisdom would be having enough money to not have a fucking break the bank incident that happens to, you know, could happen anytime. Right.
So. I mean, it's stated that most Americans live like one emergency away from poverty.
Ooh.
Right?
That's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate when I say that. I should say that with this in mind, that there are people that have it much worse than us.
Of course.
And you know, obviously, we maybe could cut our expenses by living in a poor part of town, or you know, not having certain things that we have. There are always ways to cut expenses.
Of course.
But you know, at some level, we have this discussion all the time. Why should we feel like we have to we want to enjoy our lives? So we want to have a nice place to live. We want to be able to, watch Star Trek on the TV. You know,
like I was gonna say, why should we have to feel guilty for paying for Netflix or Paramount Plus?
Right.
You know, or having air conditioning that runs all summer.
Right.
Like those are the things. And like you say, we could live in a less nice place, but we're not exactly in like a high class area.
We're not in a nice. We're in a decent-ish place.
Right.
I would say, if I had to categorize it.
I would say we're like in a poor adjacent neighborhood.
Sure.
So we're not in a poor neighborhood.
Right.
Our neighborhood is poor adjacent, which is why we're able to afford it.
Yes, indeed.
So life under God, both good times and bad times, are God ordained and purposeful. So we should accept good when accessible and face adversity when it becomes reality.
Are we allowed to know what the purpose is at any point? Is he going to spell it out? Is there like rules for this shit?
No, we don't get to know the plan. No.
Okay.
But it does remind me of the theme song of The Facts of Life.
Does it?
Is you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, that to me is like, yep.
Okay.
True. Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, you take the good, you take the bad. I mean,
that's right.
What else can you do?
Yep.
You can cry about it, but that doesn't change anything. And then it goes on to say a critique of the sages on justice and wickedness.
A critique of the sages on justice and wickedness?
Yeah, that's a little 5-verse section of chapter 7.
Okay.
And then it carries on with neither too wise nor too foolish. This part advises us neither to be too wise and righteous, nor too foolish and wicked, but a, quote, bit of both.
This is where we were talking about the Goldilocks and, you got to have the just right.
Bit of both.
Whatever, yeah.
Just like from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
They decide at the end. Bit of both. As those who fear God will succeed in both.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I guess so.
You should start fearing God.
No thanks.
Or not, right?
Yeah, no.
And then the end of chapter 7, as we recall, is my favorite. It's a critique of the advice of women. Yeah. The search for integrity. The statements in this verse are not a polemic against women, but an allegorical warning against folly, capital F, so it's her name,
okay.
who is described as an evilly seductive woman who is on a hunt to catch sinful people. So it's not anti-woman or woman-hating, we're told. It's about that personification of the quintessential honey-lipped vixen.
Got it.
It's not that all women...
aren't they considered succubuses? Is that what it is?
Succubi.
Succubi?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like the same realm?
The honey-lipped vixen?
Maybe.
Yes and no. I mean, I don't think that's what they were saying. No, they weren't talking about like a magical power.
Okay.
They were, or
well, sometimes
like,
it borders on that feeling. Like
it
the
does.
Way they talk about it.
It does. But here they were talking about a woman, but a just again a personification of the quintessential piece of shit woman, not like women in general.
Got it. Why is it never the quintessential piece of shit man though?
Because men are awesome.
Okay.
And when they're not, they're going to hell. And that's it. Like, we don't have descriptions of them the way we have description of women.
Right. The worst they really say about men is that they are, no, I guess they do say that men can be evil and foolish.
Right. But they don't talk about
But they don't go on at length about how shitty they are.
Harpies and whores and grabbing you with their honey lips.
Right.
And seducing you and them bitches, you know? Yeah. And I would just like to point out that the notes that I read may say that it wasn't a woman-hating thing, but that's not the way it read. It read as women suck, watch out for them.
Yeah.
Not a certain type of woman sucks, and you need to be careful of that type of woman.
Now, they have pointed it out specifically that it's a quote-unquote certain type of woman in other
places, yes, but not in chapter 7 of Ecclesiastes.
Right, no.
Because then it ended with, I recall, I've never met a righteous woman.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, you married 700 of them and had 300 fucking concubines.
Right.
So get the fuck out of here.
No, I feel like that was
apologist.
Yeah, an apologist take.
Definitely. But I included it because...
Right, we're trying to do fair
research.
Yeah.
Sure. So that was their take, but not mine.
Sure.
So chapter 8 concerns human and divine authority with the advice that fearing God is the wisest course. Which, I mean, that's what they've been saying.
I don't think really fearing something that I have no proof of is a wise choice.
I don't think that you should have to fear God. Like,
yeah,
I just don't think that any God worth his salt should want to be feared.
Right.
And I have been told, well, that's a very man-made feeling. Like, that's a man perspective. That's a human perspective. And I'm like, right, should I do it from a dog's perspective? I'm a human. Like, human.
What other perspective do we have?
Right. And why are you daring to speak for God? Like,
right, yeah.
I don't get that. Like, why do you think that you know better than me what God wants? And because it's in the Bible just ain't a good enough answer.
I think that's one of the things that always bothers me is it feels like a lot of people that tell you what you need to do for God, they're telling you what they think. I'm like, why do you know more than anybody else? Why are you the one that's correct?
Right.
What makes you understand this more than me?
Right.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Especially
you can't explain it. You can't tell me why.
Especially when it's a Christian, and I'm like, but why do you think that you know more than Jewish people who started this religion in the first place?
Right.
Like, and I don't see you being one of God's chosen people, so I'm sorry, tell me again how this works? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so Jews get a pass because they invented the religion and they're God's chosen people. And then Christians get a pass because they came later, but they believe in Christ.
Well, to be fair, we haven't gotten to the New Testament shit
No,
yet.
I know. I'm spewing nonsense ahead of myself. It just makes me mad that, like, Jews and Christians get a pass. The end.
Right.
And, like, nobody else. Everybody else is going to hell.
Yeah.
Are they, though? Like, I don't know. That's what you
that's
say.
That's your take. I don't. Why should I give a fuck?
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah.
So chapter 8 goes on about wisdom and folly compared and royal authority and how we're supposed to obey authorities for God's sake. So, man-made laws and all that stuff.
Again, I'm not down with that.
No, me neither. And then it goes on about the inequalities of life and fearing God is the wisest course and death comes to all, which we've already covered all of these. And then it's summarized with a man has nothing better under the sun than to eat, drink, and be merry, which is like a fucking wooden sign that you get for your mom to hang on her wall,
Yeah.
That is to accept God's gift and place oneself in his hands.
Next to it is is it like the eat, pray, love? Is it eat, pray, love?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What's that woman's name? I can't remember her name now.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
Eat, Pray, Love. Elizabeth Gilbert.
Okay. All right.
Wrote that book.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. But she also wrote a great piece and did a TED Talk on the whole thing and about creativity and writing and stuff. And, she was kind of dismayed that she had written a book before that none of us can remember the title to, and that perturbs her. That then she wrote this one, and that was the runaway that she's remembered for, and she wrote a book after that nobody.
No one, yeah.
And so she's not thrilled with that.
Got it.
Which I don't blame her.
Right.
But she did this great TED Talk on chasing creativity and feeling the magic of writing and how the muse escapes you. And man, she's so wonderful that it's funny that that's what she's known for.
Right.
Anyway, Elizabeth Gilbert, great TED Talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 9 is about more of the inequalities of life. And this chapter brings together some of the book's major themes, namely the shared fate of death, the importance of enjoyment in the midst of an unpredictable world, and the value of wisdom.
I mean, those are all things that I could, like, that's some of the stuff that I kind of agree with. Like, that's all, if you take God out of a lot of the things that they're talking about, I can agree with some of the sentiments in this book.
Sure.
It's just that you got to bring God into it. And then I'm like, no. And the way you're phrasing some of these things is just not okay. But the general sentiments, if you take them in as a secular idea,
sure, are
okay. And they could be discussed rationally and make sense for people's lives. But it's the God part that gets me.
Definitely. So, dealing with ignorance, death, and pleasure, the central theme of the first portion of this chapter is that death is the fate that ultimately awaits all people, which, duh.
Right.
Though traditional wisdom might suggest that one's fate should be determined by how righteously they lived, this obviously does not turn out to be true, making death the great equalizer.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that in the Old Testament there's a lot of struggle in their minds and in these books about how unfair death is.
Yeah.
And how the poor sometimes, how the wise and upright sometimes die before the corrupt wicked. And the rich, and it's like, yeah, that's because your God doesn't exist and it doesn't fucking matter.
Thinking of an afterlife and thinking of God handling it all makes it for them easier to deal with the inequality.
Right.
And I'm like, that's very immature though. Maybe you should think about it better. Maybe it is unfair and maybe that's just the way it is, not because God made it that way, but because, like you said, kind of sometimes life just does suck.
Well, and I feel like our view on this is why there is such unfairness in society in general, even today. Mm-hmm. Because we allow for the fact that, God will take care of that.
Yeah.
We don't take action on things because God will take care of it. Like it's left up to some other unknown entity that we don't have to worry about that.
It removes the responsibility from self and places it in some mystical, magical hands over there.
Yeah. So, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be placed in some other mystical, magical hands.
Right.
We should be taking care of this and rectifying these things as they are seen and done on this planet right now.
I was listening to an episode of the Daily Zeitgeist, one of my favorite podcasts out there.
Yeah.
And they said that the 2020s are epitomized by the description as something to the effect of all of humanity shouting into the void, "Don't you know who I am?" And that made me think of this,
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's so true. Like, everybody's the most important person.
Yeah.
Nobody is responsible for anything.
It almost makes me feel bad that we started this podcast in the 2020s because I'm like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
But,
but we didn't come into it with going, "Don't you know who I am?"
No, we just had time to think about, things that we wanted to learn more about. Mm-hmm. And honestly, we were doing podcasting prior to the pandemic. It just happened that this venture started after the pandemic or right around the same time. I can't remember exactly when we started, but
the pandemic was in the 20s. And we started this at the end of 19, I believe.
Oh, yeah. So we were doing this slightly before the pandemic.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Whatever.
Somewhere
around there. It was a long time ago. I mean, in podcast land.
I mean, it's kind of like our marriage. Like, once it's been a couple years, then you don't remember how long it's been.
Who's keeping track,
Yeah, like 15, 16 years. Like, do you remember how long?
I mean, anybody that's been listening to us forever, like, you guys know that we have over 800 fucking episodes now?
Right?
What?
That's
like,
crazy.
What the fuck? Like, I remember celebrating number 50. It seemed like it was yesterday.
Yeah. I think we skipped right over episode 500 and we're like, oh, oops.
Yeah, we'll get to it when we get to 1,000 or something.
Yeah. So to go on, the teacher, which is the name Ecclesiastes, or Koheleth.
Sure.
Koheleth. I don't remember his name.
Right. Yeah.
He exhorts his audience to live fully while they still can, finding joy in every moment.
Agreed.
To experience joy is not to deny the pain and confusion of life, but to appreciate the small pleasures within it. And I agree with that. Sure. Solomon, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Time and contingency is the next little bit of this chapter.
Okay.
In this section, the teacher presents his observations about the unpredictability of life, making the claim that people cannot know what will happen to them, which I'm like, no.
Obviously.
You don't say.
Yeah.
There is no reliable connection between one's efforts and what one receives, and this absurdity characterizes life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
sometimes
exactly
life
true.
Sucks. Yeah. You work hard, you may get rewarded, and it sucks when you don't.
Right.
The end.
Right. No, I mean, I think I've made comments throughout my life where I'm like, if I just had, like, it's not I put a lot of effort into a lot of things, but, mostly what holds me back is not the ability to do things, but the lack of ability to fund the things that I want to do.
Right.
And it pisses me off to see people that are doing worse things than me better because they have the money to fund them.
Now, what cracks me up about this section is that it goes completely opposite of Ayn Rand's theory in Atlas Shrugged, which states the entire premise of the book is based on you work hard, you 100% will get rewarded.
Right.
Because that's what the book is about. The people who work hard being rewarded. And when they feel like they're pulling too much weight for everybody who's not working hard, they go off and create their own little corner of the world in the mountains where all hard work is always rewarded and nobody shirks and rides on others' coattails. And so it's really funny to me that is completely opposite of what this says.
Yeah.
And yet somehow Republicans embrace both enthusiastically.
I think everybody has their own beliefs about all kinds of stuff, and they hold on to them with dear life because it's all they have.
Sure.
So that, and it applies to everybody, not even probably many atheists out there. We all believe things work certain ways, and if you don't believe that, then your worldview falls apart.
Sure.
And I think that atheists and free thinkers are better at thinking outside of the box with regard to some of those ideas,
or being okay with being proven wrong.
Right. But I do think that many of us, including myself, have ideas that we hold on to, and that's how the world works. And if it were to change, it's not good.
Right.
So I mean, I'm not mad that people have ideas about how workers get rewarded or what have you. But be open to I think all that I ask of people is just to be open to conversation about how you might be wrong.
Sure.
There are differing opinions. Let's talk about them.
Right.
I love talking about differing opinions.
Well, I love the idea that hard work is always 100% rewarded.
I love that idea. I just don't believe in it.
Awesome if it were true.
Right.
But it's clearly not. And in this particular part of the Bible, they agree.
Right. No, and that's cool.
Solomon goes on at great length about how that's not fucking true.
Right.
So there it is.
Yeah.
So at the end of chapter 9, the teacher returns to the topic of wisdom and says, though wisdom is ultimately of tremendous importance, one cannot expect that wisdom will be met with reward. Thus, realism, rather than untenable optimism or pessimism, is encouraged. So he's saying be realistic.
Yeah.
So just no.
Sure.
Just accept that sometimes life isn't fair.
Yeah.
Which I can get down with that notion.
Definitely.
Okay, chapter 10, the excellence of wisdom. And this chapter focuses on foolishness.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it starts out saying foolishness, or it starts out dealing with foolishness in personal life. And it talks about the invisible side of one's life as contrasted to face, hands, or body. In previous chapters, it mentioned the foolishness of things that you do with your face, or putting your hands to foolish acts, or putting your body through foolish things like sex with a vixen, right? And so this one is talking about the invisible side of one's life, meaning your thoughts.
Okay.
So it's juxtaposed against that.
Got it.
Don't be foolish.
Right.
In your thoughts.
Yeah. Because you won't be able to find the town.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Yeah.
I can't find the town. I saved that in our t-shirts.
No, I saw that. Yeah.
T-shirt ideas section.
Yeah. I'll get around to making that t-shirt someday.
Can't find town.
Yeah.
So the next one was high places.
Okay.
And so folly can be found within the leadership of a nation and results in odd reversals of position and prestige, resulting in a topsy-turvy society. That's all a fancy way of saying that sometimes your leaders are foolish and that makes the country suck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you look at ours. Well,
yeah.
I mean, not just Trump.
No, I know. I always
you
rely
always say
on
Trump,
him because
but I'm like, there's so many others.
he's the most obvious example, but yeah, we've got a lot of foolish people in office right now. So that is definitely
Lauren
true.
Boebert just recently,
Jesus Christ. I mean, I gotta say it, dem titties though,
For those that don't know, Lauren Boebert was in a theater production of something for Beetlejuice.
It was Beetlejuice the musical, a live production with families and children and pregnant women. Yeah. And she was sitting there.
She was giving her boyfriend a hand job, wasn't she?
And vaping, and he was filling up on those breasticles. And
it's all on camera.
It's all on camera. First, she denied it, any of it, and was like, that's ridiculous. I would never. I talk about, family values.
Yeah.
And then was like, oh, shit, y'all saw me. And then she's like, I fell short of my expectations of myself. And it's like...
Because you sure acted like a bitch on the way out from what I saw on camera also.
Yeah.
So,
And then to be clear, like everybody's like, no, we don't want to hoe shame. And I just want to be clear, okay?
Okay, it's not about hoe shaming.
Yeah. Let me just say, live your best hoe life.
Sure.
I don't give a fuck if you want to be a hoe, be a hoe. God knows that most people in their 20s lead their whole life. I lived my best whole life in my 20s, okay? I am not here to shame anybody for being a hoe, okay?
Right.
Do it. Be that slut. Look your best. Go out, party, feel somebody up in public,
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I have no shame in that, and no recrimination here.
Sure.
Don't do that at the same time that you're getting
pitching
mad
family values and shit.
Yeah, don't get on to others and deny them the same thing that you are doing.
Right.
And then don't talk about being like anti-abortion because that's disgusting and keep your legs together and blah, blah, blah. You can't hold both roads at the same time.
Right.
And, don't, while we're on this topic, be that hoe in your 20s that in your 30s is all of a sudden a fucking PTO mom and pretends... And, I would never, and clutch your pearls. And I know a lot of people like that. And it fucking pisses me off because I'm like, bitch, I knew you in high school.
Right.
So that's all. That's all I'm saying about that.
I am going to say one thing. Like, I don't think that even if you are living the best whole life, that doing what she did in public there, the way she was doing it, is acceptable either.
No, it wasn't.
Just to be clear.
No, it wasn't. And, if a pregnant person asks you to please stop vaping, you shouldn't have been doing it inside in the first place.
Right.
And B, definitely not when asked to stop.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
Right.
And good on the staff for kicking her out and calling the cops to make it happen.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right. So, foolishness in action, blah, blah, blah. Precautionary measures using wisdom can avert accidents, but are of no use when it's too late.
That's like one of the most obvious statements ever.
I know.
Yeah.
Although I will say, but that doesn't give call for like acting the fool and running around in circles screaming in panic. Like,
right.
Just because it's too late to fix the situation doesn't mean that you can't then try to remedy it some other way.
Sure.
Like, that was just a silly thing to say, I think.
Yeah, no, it was.
And then foolishness in words. Spoken words can be a test of wisdom, as the ones from the wise can be helpful, but foolish words originate from the foolishness of heart. So fools are foolish and say foolish things, and wise people have wisdom and say wise things. The end.
There you go. Now we know all the things.
Except that sometimes foolish people say wise things, and sometimes wise people say foolish things.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes just people say what they say.
Yeah.
And I don't whatever.
Really understand that.
Yeah. Right. I think they focus too much on foolishness and wisdom and
me too.
And like it's not that simple.
People are people, man.
Right.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Foolishness in national life. The teacher,
the
Ecclesiastes guy.
Right.
Contrasts the way of disaster and the way of safety. He does not despise laughter, wine, or money, but the point is that, quote, the pleasures of life should not be its total outlook. Which I can get behind that. That makes sense.
Sure.
Like, don't be looking to party all the time. You got to come out of your 20s at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to get a little bit serious. You can still go to that Bangles concert. And I only say that Bangles concert because I've been watching the Gilmore Girls. And
Bangles?
They went to a Bangles concert.
Oh, I thought you said Bangles, like Bengals. Like
no, you mean like the football team?
Yeah.
I meant like the band
Bangles.
that sing the song Eternal Flame.
Walk Like an Egyptian.
And Walk Like an Egyptian.
Yeah.
Eternal Flame being the superior song. And Walk Like an Egyptian being a little bit questionable now in retrospect.
Right, yeah.
So that's it. That's all
That's
got
all we
for
got?
this Q&A.
All right. Well,
Saturday.
that wraps it up. And let's see. Tomorrow we will be back with a Patreon. For those of you that are on Patreon. Mm-hmm. So do that.
You should do that.
And it's I mean, you can get on there for free and try it out. Yeah. See what you think of it.
And I was going to talk about one thing, but husband had somebody come into work today and talk to him about numbers and angels.
Angel numbers.
Angel numbers.
I was like, what the fuck is an angel number? And she starts talking about all kinds of crazy shit. And I'm like, okay.
So he came home and was like, we got to talk about angel numbers.
So yeah, if you want to know about angel numbers, go sign up for a free trial of the Patreon. Yeah. And then you can listen to it. And then if you don't like us over there enough to pay us $2 a month, you can always cancel. Yeah. And then you get a free Patreon episode.
Yeah. And then after our Patreon episode, you're going to do the weekly wrap up.
Yep.
And then we'll be back on Monday with Ecclesiastes Chapter 11.
That is right. And we'll be wrapping up like that book after the next day because it'll only be 2 episodes of Ecclesiastes and then we're done with it and we got to do our specials.
Yeah. So on Tuesday will be chapter 12, and then Wednesday will be our bonus summary.
Wrap up thing, and then, the contradictions, and then who knows? We'll do something else, maybe. Maybe we'll take a day off. I don't know. We'll see.
Fucking knows?
Well, we don't do this, like, planned shit, you know?
Other than telling you, like, the next couple days, and sometimes even that is wrong.
Right, yeah, definitely. All right. Thank you guys. As always, you guys are all amazing and we love you. And we're done for today. So goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.